Hello, hello, hello. It is Saturday evening. My husband is getting ready to go to a birthday party. Hi, husband. Look at what he's posing. We're posing. He is taking his friend Sarah's, I hope it doesn't have her address on here. Well, it would be her old address, wouldn't it?
It doesn't, because it came to
her snowboard that we have carried everywhere with us. He carried. Anyway. Okay, before I get into this, I carried.
Oh, girl, you didn't carry shit.
Are you going to dance at the party? It's a girls' party.
It's literally just 4 of us.
There's 4 of us
and then like a bunch of kids.
And a bunch of kids. Hold on a second. Pee-Pee would like to say hello. How are you today, Pee-Pee? Pee-Pee said, I'm okay today. All right. So Carly sent me something. This is what I want to show you. She said, hey, Peter, congrats on the Jeep. I love mine. I hope you like this. It's supposed to be a very nice one. Lots of love to you and Alex and the doggos from Carly. So this is what she sent me. So this is how, well, I can't show you because I'm filming on the camera right now. But it goes on my dashboard, and then the camera's supposed to sit there and not move like my other one. So I'm real excited about that. Isn't that awesome?
Is it gonna melt?
No, I don't think it'll melt like the other one. Is she here?
Yeah.
Okay. Have
Bye,
fun, babe.
sweetie.
Give me a kiss goodbye. Bye, sweetie. Love you.
Love you too.
Have fun. Text me. But don't sext me. Alright, so, what? Okay. Okay, so I have something else. So Carly, that was awesome. Thank you so much. I'm excited. It's not melty like on the other side of it. I just tried it. So I'm really, oh, there she is. So I'm really excited to try this. I'm gonna use it tonight. We're gonna see. Okay. So then I have to show you. I walked outside today. Well, got up, did my prayers, did my meditations, went and got coffee, and came back. My videos just got uploaded. I have to go pick up dog food because the dogs we're completely out. We don't have any dog food. I'm getting ready to go get dog food for them. And it's Saturday night. And I walked outside, and let me just tell you that I have this huge box with, I can't show you because it's got my address on the front of it, but I have this huge box from Kiehl's, and it has little stickers and stuff all over it. Now, I love my people at, I know who this is from already, so I'm so excited. Because my people at Kiehl's, look when I opened it, well this, I just untied the bow, but it was, see? They're so nice. I have a little card. See, it says Peter on it. It's embossed and everything. And it says, Peter, oh, it's from them. P.S. Happy Valentine. Oh, wait. Please enjoy these gifts from your Kiehl's Keystone family. We hope to see you again very soon. We love you and appreciate you. XOXO. All our love. Rachel, Lake, and the Kiehl's team. So Rachel and Lake, Rachel especially is the one that I know, and I go in there and I talk to her all the time. And Lake, so hey Rachel, hey Lake, you guys are awesome. And then they put P.S. Happy Valentine's Day. They're so sweet. They gave me a Christmas card too and everything. So here is a little Kiehl's unboxing. I love their products, so I don't know what it's going to be. I'm so excited. Oh my god, it's so much. I know, Tucker. It's so exciting. Tucker said, I love gifts. So this is what I got. Little P.O. Oh, it smells so good in here. Okay, let's see what I got. I got some samples. Love oil for lips. Glow infusing lip treatment. And I got untinted and apothecary cherry. That was so good. And then I got this sample of this Kiehl's herbal cannabis sativa seed oil herbal concentrate. I'll let Alex try that because I'm kind of weird about that. So why are they still just sitting here? Oh, they're probably putting that thing in the car. Facial Fuel Daily Energizing Moisture Treatment for Men. Sunscreen. Awesome. Kiehl's Deep Cleansing Foaming Face Wash. I love all this stuff. Okay. Kiehl's Ultimate Man. Oh, Body Scrub Bar. Oh, this is what smells so good. With sloughing bran and oatmeal and invigorating citrus extracts. It's a fatigue scrubber. Oh, I love that. It smells so good. Oh my god, and another one of these glow infusing lip treatments that's untinted. And then creamy eye treatment. Oh! You guys know I love my eye treatments, right? Let's open this up, see what it looks like inside. I'll try that tonight. I am still like obsessed with that one that Elle sent me. Oh my god, better mask for lips. This is what I wanted to try, and then I ended up not getting it because I was like, basically it's just a lip balm, but I always wanted to try it. It was expensive too. So they sent this to me. I can't believe it. She knows I wanted that. That was so sweet. So it's literally like a lip mask that you put on. It's like a lip gloss, but... Oh, that is so nice. Well, it's basically like the lip balm I use, but it comes in this instead of a stick. You know what's so funny was, when I was in high school, I was obsessed with the Body Shop. I used a lot of Body Shop products. Have I ever talked about that on here? I feel like they're like backing up and going forward, backing up and going forward. I don't know why, but their lights just keep them going off and on. But anyway, I used to use this Kiwi lip balm from the Body Shop. I don't know if they still make it. I'll have to go there and check and see. Well, that was so sweet of you guys. Thank you so much. And Carly, thank you so much for my Jeep thing, which I'm getting ready to go use. I'm so excited. And yeah, I'm going to get dog food and upload the rest of my videos. This stuff all needs to go over here. I have my Psychic Twins videos right here that I have to upload and put together. Yeah. And we are just going to relax tonight. I want to watch the end of The Wife. So I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to pay for it on cable so I can see the end of it, because I really want to see the end of it. I'm going to go get food for them. Boo Rat. Like he said, Dad, come here, Boo. Why are you running away from me, buddy? Come here. Come here, Boo. You want to be on video? He said, I am so hungry, Dad. Well, look, there's half a treat right here for you. You want it? Okay, here you go. Go eat it. He always takes it to the stairs. Watch, I'll show you. Where are you going, Boo? Is he not so cute? Okay, so, yeah, I'm going to go to the store, and I am going to get dog food, and then I will be back in a little while. Bye. Hello. I'm trying to, like, the camera thing works fantastic. It's just I can't get it to where I'm not, like, sitting so far back, but it's so good. I think it's gonna work. I might just have to, it's gonna take me maybe some time to kind of figure it out. Oh, it still kind of rolls, but I don't know if it's gonna work or not. We'll have to see. I was kind of trying to pull over and adjust it. I have a cup of coffee, and I've been listening to my audiobook. I'm gonna vlog for a little bit, and then I'm gonna go back to listening to my audiobook. I'm trying to finish it. Why won't it roll back? That's the only thing, is it won't roll back. I've been trying to listen to my, but thank you, Carly. We'll figure it out. It is good. I just need to figure out where it needs to go is the problem. So I'm gonna have to maybe like, just kind of screw with it for a couple days. Oh, that's not horrible, is it? It just goes down. I really need a mount thing is what I need. But I kind of like my windshield not being distracted, which is nice. So I don't know, we'll have to figure out something. But I'm trying to get my audiobook completed this weekend. So I went and got the dog food, and then I got some hummus and stuff for some of those cheeses that I like that have the red thing on them. Why can't I never think what they're called? Baby cheeses, Baby L cheeses, or something like that. Anyway, got some of that for dinner tonight, and then I had to like rent The Wife on cable because I can't find it anywhere else. So I watched the second half of The Wife and got it done. Okay. So good, you guys. Oh my god, one of the best movies I've seen in the last 5 years. Like probably one of the top 3 to 5 movies I've seen in the last 5 years. So good. And such a movie that I like. Those are moments where I miss my mom, that like I would, because my mom saw every movie. I would love to call my mom and be like, oh my god, did you see The Wife? Because it was really that good. It's really, really that incredible. Glenn Close is fantastic. And I understand now why. You know, I love Lady Gaga. And you know, people are really upset that she's not winning the Academy, or she's not winning the awards for Best Actress. But like, I kind of get it, to be honest. Like, like, this is the role for Glenn Close. Like, and you know, and I'm not a huge Glenn Close fan, which is interesting. I was talking to my friend Valerie about that earlier, and she's like, that surprises me that you're not. I'm like, no, I'm just not a huge Glenn Close fan. And she goes, why not? And I go, you know, I don't know. It's not anything specific. Now, I loved her, and I did bring my other battery tonight, though, but I don't think I'll probably be vlogging that long. I think tonight I'll make it a little shorter of a vlog, because I really do want to finish my book. But, if not tonight, tomorrow, I want to finish it. But, I saw her in The Big Chill, like, when I was in high school. Me and my friends loved that movie. We, like, so thought that was us, like, 20 years down the road. Funny how that never happened. But, so, I loved The Big Chill. I did not love Fatal Attraction. I'm trying to think of some of the other movies that she's been in that I've seen. I mean, I've seen a lot of Glenn Close movies, but I'm just not a huge Glenn Close fan. And, I think partly because she's not real likable in movies often, you know, but she was kind of really likable in this movie and relatable. Like, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, so I'm not going to spoil it. I don't know that her role in the movie was relatable. I just think that always being, like, I don't know, it was just like, there was just pieces of her that, like, I've been that in my life before, you know, and, I love the relationship between, like, where she, like, stood in between her husband and her son. Like, that was fantastic, too. It just was such an honest and raw movie and so real, you know? Like, it was just so fantastic. And I will tell you, it ends like I never expected the ending. So, it's really, really good. I'm going to do a review on my review channel on Monday about it. So you got to go check out The Wife. I thought that was fantastic. And I definitely, after having seen Melissa McCarthy, after having seen Lady Gaga, and after having seen Glenn Close, I can't remember who the other two people are that are up for a Best Actress, but out of those three, Glenn Close, hands down, wins the Academy Award. I mean, she deserves it. It's that good. Yeah, she was fantastic in it. And then, so I did that, and I ate my dinner. Alex was sending me videos the whole night from his birthday party that he's at. It was kind of like a mother-daughter birthday party. So it's his friend from high school that he and this girl and Sarah were all friends together. And she and her daughter had the same birthday, I think, which is, like, tonight. And so, they, like, had this birthday party, but it ended up only being, like, 4 or 5 of them all together, and they just were, like, hanging out and, like, making little videos and just talking and, you know, drinking wine and all that stuff that they like to do. They just, like, low-key it, you know? So, yeah. And let's see what else. Tonight is also Tanya Jean Applestein's birthday. She did a bunch of stuff with her family, and I think I'm going to take her out to dinner at some point this week. My hair looks cuter, like, in the mirror than it does, like, on this camera. But I guess the camera doesn't really lie, does it? So maybe my hair from this angle looks... This is, like, a horrible picture of me. I'm not a really good profile picture person. Like, I just don't ever love my profile. And I definitely, like, I don't like it from this side, which is the side you guys always see. Oh, well. In life, you are given a body. Accept it and do with it what you want, but it's your body for life, you know? Can't get too ate up with that kind of stuff, right? Can't let it stop you. So yeah, I did that, watched The Wife, took the dogs out about 5 times, switched up their food, tried another food, like a high-protein food for them, and, they seemed to really, really like it, and then they just kind of hung out in the chair with me all night long. All 3 of them were around me on the chair. It was very sweet while I watched the movie. And then I just did some bills and stuff like that, and then finally I was like, you know what, I'm going to go get a cup of coffee, and I'm going to listen to my audiobook and drive around and vlog for a little bit. So I went to the gas station, and I got a cup of coffee, And yeah, I'm real cozy, and it's been a good night. So, been a good day. Tomorrow we'll go to brunch. And I'm trying to think of what else. We need to go see my brother and sister-in-law. They just got back from Puerto Rico. So when, I don't know if I've talked about this on here, but my brother-in-law, Carlos, played for like a farm baseball team in Venezuela. So like not like major league, but like minor league, I think is how it would work there. I don't really know. He's really, really into baseball. And so every year he would do this, it was kind of like different countries would send a team to Puerto Rico or Miami. And I think it was always Puerto Rico. And so this year he is like on a farm. I don't know how it works. Anyway, they went to Puerto Rico for this baseball tournament thing. And they had a great time. And like the whole team stayed together at this place. And it was beautiful. And they just had a really, really good time. So, but they're back now. And I saw the pictures. They were beautiful. But we haven't seen them since they've been back, so we probably need to go over there. I need to turn on my heated seat. I was like, it's a little cold in here. It was funny because I was talking to my friend today on the phone, and she said, she watches my videos. I didn't know that she did. And she was like, I saw that you have a heated steering wheel. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, in my old car, I had it. Oh, my husband's calling me. Okay. He was just telling me that he was on his way home. It's like the camera is like so far away now. Which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It was like really hard to turn on. I was like, ah! He was driving home with the friend whose party it was tonight. It was her sister lives really close to us, so she was saying hi in the background. They had a good time. He said he's really tired because I've been up since early this morning. I go, what are you going to do when you get home? Watch TV? And he goes, I'm going to completely crash. I'm totally exhausted. I've been up all day long. I was like, okay. I said I'm going to listen to my audiobook for a little while and drink some coffee. He just laughed. I did not take a nap, though, tonight, which is interesting. I usually lay down for just a little bit. I got the nap thing from my Uncle Dave, you know. I was thinking about this earlier. Like, back in the day, like, whenever we would go over to my aunt and uncle's on the weekend, oh, by the way, this blue sweatshirt that I have on tonight, I just, like, wanted to throw on a sweatshirt, and I have, like, honestly, laundry baskets, like, 2 laundry baskets filled with clothes that I haven't, like, they're clean and folded, and I haven't gone through them in, like, probably 6 months, because there's things that, like, I've either lost weight and they don't fit, or I've gained weight and they don't fit, so I just, like, leave them in the laundry basket. And, do you guys remember, if you've watched my videos for a long time, this blue sweatshirt I used to wear, I had this one and a gray one, and I wore it in my videos, like, all the time in the back of the day, and, so, like, tonight I was like, where is that blue sweatshirt or that gray sweatshirt that I used to wear? I was like, I know they have to be around here somewhere. I was like, where are they at? And so, I like went down to the basement and I was like going through the laundry baskets and they were like down there and I was like, oh my God, there it is. And so, I like pulled it out and I put it on. I was like, okay, this is either going to be baggy because I've like lost weight and like plateaued because I'm not really doing anything to lose much weight right now. Although I do have my training on Monday and we're getting back on track. But, or I was like, I've gained weight and it's not going to fit. It totally is loose on me. Like, it's baggy. I was like, oh, this is perfect and it's so comfortable. So, I totally forgot I had those. I had those. Do you ever forget, like, clothes that you've had and then all of a sudden you find it and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot all about this. So, yeah, I also forgot that I had done this video and they had sent me a sweatshirt with PP's picture on it. Some company, I don't know. But anyway, so I had that sweatshirt down there too. I completely forgot. It's like a light blue sweatshirt. It's really cute. And it has PP's picture on the front of it. It does not say PP the Flying Chihuahua like the ones that are available in my merch shop. But can we just talk about my merch? My merch sucks. And somebody contacted me today and they said, contact me, it sounds so formal, doesn't it? She was like, it's my birthday and my husband got, I think she said my husband or my best friend, I think she said my husband, got me one of your mugs that says it's just not that deep, and I was so excited about it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And I love when people like buy the merch and then they reach out to me, or they get it, especially if they get it as a gift, or my book. Like, I think that's so cool that somebody would buy like my book for somebody as a gift, because I just like never in a million years like dreamed that up, you know? And oh, by the way, I made up my writing schedule tonight for the next 3 months, 3 or 4 months. It's like 100 days, so between 3 and 4 months. I think I'll just give myself 4 months. But anyway, to finish this project. It's like very realistic that way, isn't it? So anyway, but I love that. But like, my merch sucks. Like, okay, it like started, like, I reached over because it started like flipping down. I just like, I don't know how to push it down into this. See, and now I'm pushing things in the camera and they're going off. You can't see that, but I can on the screen. I'm like trying to push it down with my finger. You can't see it, can you? Hello, finger. I'm trying to like push the top of the camera down because it's like, it like leans down like this, and I don't like that. Okay. It's definitely not as sticky as the old one that I had, but I also don't want this to melt. Oh, it can't, there's no possible way for it to melt. But this would be great for a phone, is what it would be great for. If you just wanted to like put a phone on your dashboard, I don't know what you would want to do that for, like play music or something. But anyway, yeah, my merch sucks, and I need to figure out what I want to do with that merch. Some of it I think is cute. I don't know. I always say that, and then people are like, no, it's not, and they love this or they love that, but like some of it is just straight up just not good. I am not in denial about the merch. Let's just put it that way. Oh my God, come on. Did you ever get a song stuck in your head? We played Ariana Grande like the whole trip, and this Miley Cyrus song that was mixed by Mark Ronson, and those 3 songs like I have stuck in my head. But right now I have that "Thank You Next" song stuck in my head over and over and over again, like one loop. This coffee is really good from Thornton's. I don't usually get their coffee. I mean, I love gas station coffee, but I will say this, I don't like Speedway coffee. It's not my favorite. The other day I got the coffee from McDonald's. It's really good. I really like that. And it's cheaper than everywhere else too. It doesn't take a whole lot to impress me much, Shania Twain. Didn't she say that? Or did she say it doesn't impress me much? I was never a Shania Twain fan. I am a huge country music fan though, which I know probably surprises a lot of people, but I am. I kind of feel like I know a lot of people in sobriety that love country music, but they didn't really like country music until they got sober. Isn't that interesting? Like, what do you think that's about? I think the stories are relatable sometimes to sobriety. I love that Alison Krauss song, Whiskey Lullaby. That's like Tanya and I's song. If you guys know that song, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, it is, I'm trying to slink down lower so you can see me. I think that's why it looks like my hat. Like, it looks so bad tonight, but it really, yeah, I just need a new hairstyle. I think that's a problem. I'm gonna go to my hairstylist next time I get my hair cut. I think it's like on the 20th or the 21st. I'm gonna be like, I need a new hairstyle. You need to do something different with this, because this swoop is not working anymore. I don't like it. It's 21 degrees and it sure doesn't feel that cold outside. I think we're supposed to have some snow on Tuesday. Snow or rain or something like that. You know, I didn't take my meditation books out like when I was in LA, obviously, so I was like catching up on a lot of them today, and it was talking a lot about shame and guilt, and it was interesting, like, reading the meditation. I don't know, like, they were good meditations for me. Partly because I realized how, like, as far as a lesson in life, how far I've come on that lesson. Shame and guilt are not two emotions that I feel strongly on a regular basis, but I did back in the day. They were things I struggled with a lot, especially, like, you know, feeling ashamed of mistakes I'd made in my life or things that I had done. And I still struggle with it. There are still things that, you know, I feel that way about, that I work on, but not as many as I did back in the day. I just was riddled with shame and guilt when I was younger, you know, especially, like, you know, I remember, like, you hear a lot of people in recovery talk about, like, they do a 4-step inventory and then you go over it with somebody, typically your sponsor, but you can do it with a lot of different people. I think my mom did hers with her sponsor and also her pastor, because I think it was important for my mom to have, like, a spiritual point of view on that. So, you know, it's interesting because, you know, you hear people talk a lot about doing this 4-step inventory, which is making a searching and fearless moral inventory of your life. And what you do is you make a list of resentments, and then there is, so many people were asking me questions about something to do with recovery. Now I can't remember what they asked me the other day. I think it was I was, like, reading the comments, something about sponsorship. Well, real quick, so sponsorship is recommended in 12-step programs. It's different in each program, you guys, so I guess I need to say this. Like, I'm specifically speaking about AA right now. Because I said something in a video and somebody was like, well, NA isn't like that, and that was true. But I try not to talk specifically about any certain program because it's part of the traditions. But, I mean, I can talk about these things because these are, like, facts of a program, so it's not like an opinion. But in recovery, it's recommended, it's a suggestion that you get a sponsor, okay, if you're in recovery. And a sponsor, the recommendation is a person that has a year or more of sobriety time and is the same sex, typically. Gay men and lesbians, it says in the pamphlet of sponsorship, can have opposite sex sponsors. But I've always believed that, this is just my personal belief, that men sponsor men and women sponsor women. That was what I was taught. That was how I was brought up by old timers. So that was why every sponsor I ever had was a man until recently. And part of the reason why I got a female sponsor was because I had seen all of my friends have these incredible my female friends have these incredible life-altering relationships with their sponsors, right? Where over a period of time, yes, they were their sponsor, they were their mentor, but then they also became friends, and they would, like, go out to lunch and do things with them, and they had this, you know, incredible rapport and relationship, but yet they could hear the lesson as well. I had great sponsors. I had incredible men as sponsors that taught me how to be a man of character, and how to be a person of character. But I never had that, you know, and I've always been friends with more, you know, women or, you know, girls when I was growing up, or women have always, I think, been my role models in life, and, you know, I just relate to women more, and so I've always kind of, like, toyed with the idea in the back of my head of having a woman sponsor, but I've always believed in sticking to what I was told, so I did it, because that's kind of an old-timer kind of thought that, you know. But working with my sponsor, or working with my counselor, and talking to Tanya, I was like, you know, I really think this is what I need to do, and my counselor was like, well, if you... because he knew who I was he doesn't know her, but I had talked about her because she's a friend. I mean, like, she's not a friend of mine, but, like, she's somebody that I know as friendly in the program. Before, like, I asked her to be my sponsor, and she has really a close time. It's hard when you get older, too, you know, like, to find somebody that has the same amount of sobriety time as you do. And before, my last sponsor had a lot less time than I did, but I really respected his, you know, his program. And, but it kind of became a problem, not so much for me, I think, but maybe he struggled with it sometimes. But my sponsor now has a year less than I do. She and Tanya got sober, like, at the same time. And, it's just a completely different relationship. You know, it's like nothing, it's what I always wanted to have with a sponsor that I never had, you know? And I'm just so incredibly thankful for her. So a sponsor is somebody that basically, you know, takes you through the 12 steps. They guide you through the steps. You know, it's a program of attraction. And so they don't, typically, it's not their job to call you up. It's your job to call them and pick up the phone. And, you know, there's a lot of different ways to sponsor. There's no specific way. My sponsor calls me on the phone, though, too. Like, I mean, at this point, I mean, maybe in your first year, it's a little bit different or right away. But, like, at this point in sobriety, like, we have a different kind of relationship than I think I would have. And she also said to me, she goes, if you were, like, brand new, I probably, and, like, she was like, I probably wouldn't sponsor you because I think it would be good for you to have a guy if you were early in sobriety. Just because, you know, men have issues that are specific to men and women have issues that are specific to women. And I think that's why it's important, even if it's not like an attraction kind of thing. I mean, thankfully, I've never had that problem with my, you know, sponsors that I've had in my life. But, yeah. And I've had great sponsors. I just never had that personal, like, relationship with them. You know, it was always just all these rocks and stones from the construction are, like, spitting up. But, she's fantastic. So a sponsor is somebody that guides you through the 12 steps. You know, you call them in early sobriety if you're going through something. I call my sponsor if I'm going through something and she, you know, talks me down, or she'll have me look at it in a completely different way, or she'll say, this is what we're not going to do, or this is what I suggest, you know? I mean, a lot of people want to know why I haven't responded to a lot of things, and she's like, it's not about you. You're not in that, you know? And, I don't know, I always agree with her, but I trust her. And, my sponsor specifically is really, really big on inventory and pretty hardcore about, like, any feeling, emotion that I have, or anything that's happened, or any person in my life that she's like, we're gonna inventory this and you're gonna take a look at your part in that. Like, always, 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 what is your part in that? What is your, like, how does it affect you? What happened? And what's your part in that? Because I can only change my part. And so she's really focused on that. And it's been great for me. I think honestly, God put her in my life at the exact moment that I needed her to be in my life. Like, you know what I mean? She's just fantastic for me. Like, she's just no bullshit. Like, she doesn't really, like, I mean, if I call her up and I'm complaining about something, she doesn't really want to hear the complaint. She's like, are you in the solution or are you in the problem? She says that a lot to me, and she'll say, like, you know, like, do you want to get better? Because here, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, but it's the work on you. Like, I don't want to hear you complain about, you can tell me the story of what happened, but I don't want to hear you complaining a bunch about other people or other situations. Like, we can only change you. Like, she's really good about that. I'm so thankful for that. So, you know, she's really given me the opportunity for growth. And I mean, like, I'll say things to her like, I don't know, like, if Alex and I got into a huge fight, like, I'm just making up an I'm just making up an example. I mean, I have called her before because Alex and I have gotten in fights. And I'll be like, I'm so pissed at him right now, you know? And this is what she says to me, okay? When I get upset about something, I'll call her and I'll say, I'm so upset right now. And she'll say, oh my gosh, what an opportunity for growth this is. What a time to learn a lesson. Like, she always says shit like that, and I just start laughing. I'm like, you piss me off so bad. She's like, no, but it is. This is an awesome opportunity for growth for you. You know, like, if this didn't happen, you wouldn't be learning this lesson. I mean, I've had some shit go down, and I'm like, hey, listen. And she's like, what an opportunity for growth. And I'm like, I don't like that. And she just starts laughing. She's like, well, I'm not here to kiss your ass, but I am here to love you. You know, she's like, I love you unconditionally. And, you know, we're going to work through this and you're going to be better on the other side of it. She's just fantastic. It's kind of different as you get older, but, like, she's still so big into inventory and working steps, so I'm still working steps with my sponsor. But in early sobriety, I mean, and a lot of sponsors believe different things. Some sponsors believe you work your steps once and you're done. Other sponsors believe you work them over and over and over again. She's more of that kind of belief system. And she gets in a workshop. They have workshops where you, like, go through all the steps. She gets in a workshop every year, so. But in early sobriety, it's more just to kind of, like, guide you through the steps, not to be your counselor, not to be your therapist or anything like that, not solve your life's problems, not just hear your woes. But really just to walk you through the steps and like, you know, the part about like calling them at 3 o'clock in the morning if you're wanting to crave, that's great. Or if you're craving, that's great. But you also need a support system for that. Your sponsor can't be everything. And, yeah, I'm thankful for like the people I've called my sponsors in my life many times at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, especially in early sobriety. I don't know why I was stopping there. It was a railroad track and there was no stop sign, but I was stopping. Yeah, so that's that. But then like with inventory, this is what I was going to say, you know, it's interesting because, so a 4-step inventory is a searching and fearless moral inventory of your life and, of ourselves. And you make a list of your resentments and you go through and talk about like how it's affected you and like who the resentment or what the resentment is about, like what person, what event, what situation, what organization, whatever. And then you talk about what the resentment is and then what area of your life it's affected, like my pride, my ego, you know, my money situation, whatever. My sense of security, my happiness, it could be anything. And then you talk about, you know, like, you go through and you list different examples of that, but then you go through and you sit down with your sponsor, typically in a 5th step, when you go over this with them, and then you discuss what your part is in that, right? See, it's not about the other person, it's what is your part in that. And then what you see over time is, wow, there are patterns to my behaviors. There's patterns to things that are happening to me. Or maybe there's patterns to the people that I'm choosing to be in my life. Like, why am I choosing these people to be in my life when like, I have the same resentment towards all of them? So maybe it is my picker, you know? Maybe it's, but like, maybe I need to pick differently. Or, you know, maybe I shouldn't have responded with such anger and animosity, you know? Maybe I should have, you know, responded. And this is why we don't just quickly say I'm sorry to people or just quickly make amends, because there's a process to it, you know? And, so, anyway, you do all that, but really you just look at your part in that. Well, when I originally did my 4-step years and years and years ago, and then I did my 5th step with my sponsor, you know, you hear people talk about it, many people, not everybody, and they'll say, oh my God, I just had this like burning bush, you know, euphoria when I was done. I just like couldn't believe, like I felt so good when I was done with my 5th step. Okay, that was not my experience. When I was done with my 5th step, honest to God, like sitting there and looking at it on paper and everything that I had looked at, I just was like I had a lot of shame. I was like, you're a piece of shit. And I really struggled with it, you know? And that was a lot of calls to my sponsor at the time, who's no longer with us. He passed away from an overdose, but he got me through early sobriety. I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for that man, you know? And I remember some of the most powerful things that he said to me were like, I would tell him something in my life that I had a lot of guilt or shame over, and then he would tell me a story that was very similar, and he'd say, you're not different, you're not unique, see, like, and I can remember thinking to him, that was the one good thing that really did come from it. I realized, it's not just me, you know, and it was really, that part was really powerful. But it was hard to see all this shit, you know, about myself that I had done since I was a young kid, and, you know, like feelings that I had, emotions that I had. You do a fear inventory, you know, and then you do like a sexual conduct inventory, and then on there, you know, that's not just a list of all of your sexual encounters, but, you know, it's also, he had me, a lot of sponsors do it a lot of different ways. He had me talk about how I defined masculinity, who my male role models were, you know, why I like, you know, just different things on there. And that was really good for me to kind of like take a look at how I looked at what it meant to be a man. But also like how I had used people in relationships, like romantic relationships. That was hard for me to look at. You know, it just was a lot. It was a lot of pain to look at stuff. That's Alex. I think he's texting me home. Is what he's texting me. I can't see from here. But anyway, it was just painful to look at, and I had a lot of shame associated with it. And, you know, then step 6 and 7 are about character defects. And, you know, that's when, you know, we pray for the character defects to be removed. And those character defects that are the behaviors that we have patterns from. See, like in the inventory, you realize what the pattern of behaviors are. Those are the character defects. And then in 6 and 7, we pray for those character defects to be removed. Well, I was always taught that you have to put action to that. You know, that it's not just you pray and they're removed. I was taught, this is just my experience, that to remove a character defect, you have to do the opposite. You have to practice the opposite, right? So for example, like, I struggle a lot with patience. I'm sure that's not a surprise to a lot of people, but I struggle a lot with patience. So back in the day, like one of the things, like Tanya and I both share this story. It's kind of funny but anyway, this is an old school thing. My sponsor would have me like I had to hold a door open at gas stations for like 3 people to go in. Or if I was in line at a gas station, I had to or a grocery store, I had to get out of line and let like 2 or 3 people go ahead of me. Just because I was learning patience. And, but you know, it was good. Like, and I realized like, what am I in such a damn hurry for? You know, it's not on my time, it's on God's time. And then 8 and 9 are about the amends. 8 is you make a list of amends. And, you know, 9 is that you make direct amends. And I was taught you make direct amends. So, did that. And 10 is doing a daily inventory. And 11 is about prayer and meditation. And 12 is, you know, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps. It's about carrying the message. And I didn't say this, but like, you know, 1 is admitting we are powerless, you know, over alcohol, drugs and alcohol. And step 2 is, you know, coming to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And step 3 is made a decision to turn our life and our will over to the care of God as we understood Him. And so 2 and 3 are spiritual steps. The only step that it ever mentions alcohol, and the only step that it ever mentions drugs in Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous is the first step. Which is why when I say these programs are not about drugs and alcohol, they're not. It's a thinking disease, not a using disease. And this car has hazard lights in the middle of the road. What is going on? But like the reason I was bringing it up was that I had so much like guilt and shame when I first looked at all of that. Like it was almost too much to me. And then, you know, and it occurred to me like, well, that's probably the reason why I would just like get up on days that I was like really trying to. They still have Christmas stuff up. Are you kidding me? Well, I guess I just took mine down not too long ago. But you know, like I would think to myself before I got sober, like I'll get sober tomorrow, and then I would get up and I would like, if I was gonna say to myself, okay, I'm gonna get sober tomorrow, then the night before I got sober, I was going out with style. Like I was gonna drink like nobody's business, and usually sat at home, didn't go out on those nights. I had many of those nights where I tried to quit on my own the next day, and it just didn't happen. I'd wake up the next day and I felt so ashamed, and I couldn't do it. Like I just physically couldn't do it, and then there was shame on top of shame on top of shame, you know? But like I don't feel that way today, because I think, and I was saying this in my Peterisms video today, that shame and guilt are resistance to acceptance of the lesson. So if I really do want to learn the lesson, and I really do want to become a better person, then I can't be resistant to the lesson, if that makes sense. Like I can't just be like, oh no, like I'm not gonna, you know, and feeling guilty about something is refusal of looking at why it happened in your life, that it happened to teach you a lesson. I'm about the lesson today. I am gonna mess up. I'm gonna fall down, and hopefully I'll get back up. I'll learn from the lesson. But shame and guilt aren't gonna do me any good, or anybody else, if that's the response that I have to learning these lessons, you know? It's about to stop, so I'm gonna actually take a break for a second, and I wanna listen to my audiobook for a little bit, and I wanna call Alex because he's home now, so I'll be back in just a little while. Hi. All right, I'm back. Hello, did you miss me? I got about Well, I had like an hour and 45 minutes left of my book, and I listened to like 40 minutes of it, and I'm going to try to finish it tonight. So I'm not going to vlog for a whole lot longer, but I did want to come back on here and talk for a little bit more. I was like reading, okay, in this book, she was describing this coat that this girl had on, and for some reason it made me think of this Donna Karan coat that I bought like earlier this winter, and I realized like that I haven't worn that coat. I think I wore it one time, and that's it. Like I haven't worn it since then. But it's not like it's gonna go out of style, so I can wear it again later, you know. But anyway, I was like, you know what? I haven't worn that coat at all this winter. Anyway. I wonder what the weather's supposed to be like tomorrow. I cannot find this lip balm in here. What is going on? There it is. I kind of like to just relax tomorrow, maybe watch some movies or something. I think it's safe to say the Chanel lip balm is gone. There's like nothing left in here. I remember back in the day, my mom with lipsticks. So my mom wore the same lipstick her entire life. It was this Clinique Salmon Ice. I think I've talked about it on here before. It was kind of like, last time I talked about it, actually I did talk about it on here because somebody was like, oh my god, I wear the same lipstick. They must still make it. But it's like the salmon color, but then it has like kind of a frost to it. My mom wore it her like whole life. Sometimes towards the end of her life, she would wear like a bright pink or like a bright red, but very rarely. She thought like red really dated her, so she wouldn't wear that. But I can remember she would like use it right. I mean, like this tube, it's like underneath the metal. Like I can't really get to it, but my mom would like take it like this, and then she would put it on. And in our bathroom downstairs, what did she call our bathroom downstairs? We had like this little powder room. Powder room, that's what she called it. In the powder room downstairs off the entryway, she had this drawer in there, and like when you opened it, it was just like all these empty tubes of salmon ice. And she would like, before we left the house, she'd go in the bathroom. That's when she put the lipstick on her cheeks. And she would like take it, and she'd like get like whatever she had left, because she was like so cheap about stuff like that. She would get whatever she had left from the tube and like put it on her cheeks and her lips. And I'd always be like, Mom, why are you putting lipstick on your cheeks? And she'd be like, I just need a little bit of color. But you know, the last time I talked about that on here, people said that that was normal, that was like rouge back in the day. I don't know why I was just thinking about this when I was thinking, but one of my mom's favorite movies ever, and I think she loved the book too, by Somerset Maugham, was The Razor's Edge. Did you guys ever see that movie? Oh my god, it's so great. It has that woman in it, Teresa, I can't think of her last name, but she was in Black Widow with Deborah Winger, which, oh my god, I loved. If you've never seen Black Widow, it is so fantastic. It's about an FBI agent, and she's like hunting this woman down who like marries these men, and then she kills them. It's such a great movie. I was kind of obsessed with it when I was younger, and I haven't watched that in forever. I should break that out and watch it. I have it on VCR somewhere, probably in the basement. And but that Teresa woman, I can't think of what her last name is. She's so fantastic, and she was in The Razor's Edge. I wonder what happened to her. Like, she just kind of stopped making movies. She was in The Razor's Edge too, and she played Sophie, I think. And she was an opium addict. It was so tragic. She like dies in the book. But if you've never seen The Razor's Edge, it takes place like right after World War I, and it's with Bill Murray. And it's one of his only dramatic roles. He's so fantastic in it. And it was a Somerset Maugham book, I believe. And So Somerset Maugham was one of the expatriates. He was like friends with like Hemingway and Fitzgerald and Gertrude Stein, and they all hung out in Paris together and stuff like that. And he ended up going to Tahiti and like something with Gauguin paintings or something. I can't remember. There was a book about him going to Tahiti that he wrote that I think I read that book. What's the book of his that I read that I loved? Shorter, I can't remember. But anyway, my mom loved that movie so much, and so Bill Murray goes to Europe after the war, and he's like, I think he's going through, he's divorced, and he's kind of like always in love with this woman, but like she's married to his friend. That woman's been in a lot of movies too. I can't think of who she is now, but she doesn't look like she does in that movie. And there's this great scene when they're like in the car, she and this other woman, who are kind of like, they're friends, but Sophie ends up with Bill Murray, and they have like this relationship for a while, and then he goes away, and when he comes back, she like, I don't mean to ruin it for you, but I bet you guys are not like busting out to go rent the Razor's Edge. I don't even know where you can find it, honestly. But he leaves for something, and then he comes back, and when he comes back, she started using opium again, and she dies. It's really sad, but this was like at the time of the opium dens, you know, in like the 30s, I think, 20s or 30s. Maybe I'm wrong with the dates, but World War II is in the 40s, so it has to be. And I think it is World War I. I think it's after World War I. But anyway, there's this country road that I love to go down. I'm gonna go down. I like to go like up the interstate and listen to my audiobook and come back to interstate. So anyway, I don't know why I was thinking of that, but my mother loved that movie though. Oh, there's this scene in the car with Sophie and this girl, this other woman, and she's like drinking in the car, this Sophie, and she's like always drinking, and she's like, let's not lose it now, Sophie. And the woman, Teresa, actress, she said, in case you haven't noticed, I lost it a long time ago. And I just love that scene so much, and with them in this car. And there's a scene where it was so weird. I was just thinking about my dad, but my dad like randomly texted me today something. I'll talk about that in a second. But a friend of his is like dying, and so not my dad's in the movie, and Bill Murray goes to see him one last time before he dies. I think the guy's supposed to be gay in the movie. And he goes and sees him one last time, and he's like scared to die, and Bill Murray like has this great conversation with him. It's just there, you know, I think about that sometimes, but like there are still great movies. Like I don't know if I talked about this earlier. Yeah, I talked about Glenn Close, and the movie The Wife really reminded me of like movies that I grew up on, like in junior high and high school, and watching, that my mother just was obsessed with, and when I was older than that too, you know, like Out of Africa. Like we don't see movies like that anymore, you know. Not really. Every once in a while we do, but I feel like everything is either experimental or, you know, it's not just these like great films. Oh my God, Out of Africa. First of all, the soundtrack to Out of Africa is one of my favorite soundtracks. I love soundtracks to movies, and it's one of my favorite soundtracks of life. And that movie is just so majestic. And if you've never seen it, it's about the I think she's Danish, the Danish author Isaac Denson, and she goes to Africa because she wants to buy a farm. And when she gets there, she's very entitled, and culturally very entitled, and she learns a lot about Africa and the land. And there's this amazing scene with, I could start crying even thinking about it. There's this amazing scene at the end of the movie Robert Redford dies in a plane crash. And she's not divorced yet, but like he's like the love that she always wanted to have. It's like this fantastic love story. And there's this one scene when he and his friend come over. Actually, I think it's the guy that died in The Razor's Edge. They come over for dinner at her house, and it's like all candlelit in this room, and she lives in this ranch, like this farm out in the middle of nowhere. And he goes, I hear you're famous for your stories. And then this is Robert Redford, and he says, how about a story? They're after dinner. And she goes, something about, Meryl Streep is in it, and she's just so fantastic in the movie. And she says, I could talk about movies, literally. I could do like a 5-hour vlog just talking about movies. I love movies so much. I should talk right now about some movies that have impacted me in my life. Oh, I am. But, there's this scene when he's like, I hear that you tell great stories, like how about a story? And she says something to the effect of like, I do, but like you have to provide the first line. And so he provides this line, and then it goes into this music, and then like you don't hear the story, it's just her talking. You see her talking, they're like just enraptured with her, and then it just kind of like goes around the room, and the music is like amazing. It's just such a great movie. And at the very end, she's going back to she's going home, and if she was from Denmark, that would make her Danish, right? Okay, so I think she's going back to Denmark. I think she's from Denmark in the movie. But it's a true story. But anyway, so she never returned. It says it at the end of the movie, I remember. And then I also did some research because I like looked it up because I wanted to know. She never went back to Africa. And there's a part at the very end. There's this guy that like helps her with the farm. And he's from Africa. And he becomes very close to her. Like, just kind of like, you know, not like indentured, but like they become very close. And he wants to come with her, and she says, I must go alone, but I will send for you. I'm like, see, I'm getting teary. Like, it's like the greatest scene in this movie, you know? And it's like, I miss movies like that are so true of life, you know, that we say goodbye to people in life, you know? I mean, even people that don't pass away. I mean, people move and we never... I have friends of mine that nothing ever happened between us, you know? I still love them dearly, and I haven't seen them for 20 years. They moved away, and time went apart, and we just, you know, it happens, you know? And I think, like, that's the thing. I remember, like, you know, when I was in high school, and I would, like, not want to go on a vacation because I wanted to be with my friends or whatever, and my parents would say things to me like, I know, my parents were never like, these people are not your friends. Like, they didn't say mean stuff like that to me about my friends. My parents were always very cool about all that. But I can remember my parents would say, especially my mom, she would say, which is funny because her closest friend, like, in her entire life was her friend Diane that died 3 years before she did. And that was her friend from high school. Like, they met and were like best friends for life. Diane's the one that lived on Beaver Island. And, well, and Susie from college. But my mom would say to me, you know, like, these friends of yours, like, they're not going to be your friends 10 or 15 years from now. Like, she's like, hey, don't make life decisions based on them, because the chances of them all being in your life, you know, is probably not great. Oh, you don't know. We're going to all live on the same street together, you know, that kind of thing. And I look back on that now and I'm like, where am I at on time? I look back on that now and I'm like, she was so right. But I miss them, you know, I miss those times that we had. I'm really thinking about writing a book. I'm like so confused right now with what to be writing in my life. I feel like I'm at the place I was before I wrote my last book, and where Alex was like, just pick something and go with it. But I'm really thinking about writing a book from my point of view of like my senior year in high school, but like fictional. But like with all the pop culture references and everything like that, you know? kind of like thinking about like combining a couple life events that happened to me into one story. I'm thinking about it being a group of friends, and like something tragic happens, and they don't really know how to get over it, and they're all like, you know, 17, 18, like how we were, and it takes place in like 1989, 1990. There's some really great books that take place during that era. Grady Hendrix, My Best Friend's Exorcism, took place during that. I mean, the cultural references were unreal. He did so well. Ready Player One, too. The book, more than the movie. The movie was great, but like the book is just so fantastic by Ernest Cline. The way that he, like, all of the cultural all the pop cultural references from like the era that I was growing up are all in there, and it's just, I mean, it's unreal. It's like one after another. I mean, it's so layered, and it's just done so well. But anyway, yeah, Out of Africa was another movie that like really. Oh, y'all want to see me cry? Okay, let's talk about The Way We Were. So, if you haven't seen The Way We Were, it's with Barbra Streisand, another Robert Redford movie. Barbra Streisand and Robert Redford. And it was one of my mom's favorite movies of life. I think because it very much, like, represented, like, my mom and dad for her. And, so it was about this Jewish girl, Barbra Streisand, and Robert Redford. You know, and he was like blonde hair, blue-eyed, and they fall in love, and they're not the type, they shouldn't, because they're complete opposites. And she's completely liberal, and he's very conservative. It's, you know, a lot like my mom and my dad. And it's about their like ongoing relationship over time, and he's a writer, and she wants so bad, like there's a scene at the beginning when they're in college, that's how they meet, and she's like an activist, and there's a scene at the beginning when she wants so bad to have, like, they're gonna read one story in class, and like short story, and say who's the best, and she wants so bad, like, to, like, she works so hard on this story, and he just is like naturally, you know, talented writer, and his story is the one that the teacher reads, and he ends up going on and becoming like this famous author, you know, that his books are made into movies in Hollywood, and it's all about McCarthyism and things like that. It's epic. And the movie is just the music is fantastic to the movie too, but like at the very end, they're apart. And so when I was a little kid, my mom would watch it, and I would lay on this huge California king-size bed, and in the summer she would have the fan on, like the box fan. I think that's probably why I still sleep with a box fan sometimes. Although my aunt, on the farm where I used to stay with her in the summer, that's my aunt and uncle. So my dad's sister is a farmer, and she actually, like, recently, because my uncle passed away years ago, 5 years ago, my aunt sold, like, I thought she'd sold, like, her farm. My dad said she sold, like, just, like, literally, like, 1/100th of it, and just bankrolled, and she's so simple. And I said to my dad, I go, why isn't she, like, traveling and, like, buying some new place? And he's like, yeah, she won't leave the farm or her animals. She's like, her animals are out there. She's just so sweet and so simple, and, like, she's just sitting on a gold mine, and I love that. I love that so much about my aunt, and she's so fantastic. And, so anyway, I think I was saying something about, and then I got into this whole thing with my aunt. What was I going to say? Am I out on time? I keep on thinking I'm going to be like way over on time. I have that stupid Ariana Grande song stuck in my head. It's driving me crazy. One taught me love. Okay, so my aunt that lives on the farm. What was I saying before that? God, I hate when I'm like doing this and I forget what I'm talking about. Well, my dad randomly texted me today out of the blue. was so weird. And he was like, hey kiddo, I just wanted you to know how proud I am of you. He was like, you make me proud every day. My dad doesn't often like, my dad is super supportive of me and super loving, but he doesn't often like text me things like that or just randomly say like really awesome things. So it was just really nice. He's really it's funny because my dad is like 6'5", 6'4", and he's like really masculine, but extremely affectionate too. Okay, I was going around this roundabout and literally the whole thing just slid. I don't know, I'm trying to like pat it down, but I stopped in this gas station anyway because I was like, see, it's like wobbling. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm gonna have to figure it out tomorrow. But anyway, I was like, since I'm stopping trying to figure it out anyway, I'm just gonna like see what I was talking about. I was talking about the way we were before I went into this whole rambling thing about my aunt. Anyway, when I used to go stay with my aunt in the summers, they didn't have air conditioning on this farm. So they would put a fan in the window and then a fan on the floor, like box fans. And that's how I started sleeping with a fan. And then my uncle, Dave, that passed this year, this is some other side of the family. This is my mom. That's my mom's side of the family. Caroline's dad. He used to take a nap every day. He's the one, I don't think I said that earlier, like when I went into that earlier. He's the one that got me taking a nap all the time because he would always take a nap like after every meal and after like, he would just like, we would be like at Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner, there'd be like all these people, you know, and he'd just walk into the bedroom and like close the door and take a nap and with the fan on and the dog. And I remember that, and I started doing that like as I got older, you know, but anyway, so when I was a kid, my mom, like, she loved the way we were, and I think she would like rent it a lot or something, I don't know, but like I can remember laying on the edge of her bed, and I would lay on the edge of her bed while she would like watch it, and I can just remember her like sitting, she was sitting on the chair, and she had this chair and this ottoman that would watch the TV, and I would lay with the like my head on the pillow, and the windows would be open, and the box fan, it was like in the summer, you know, and she would like be watching the movie, and I can remember at the very end, and I didn't even understand it like really because I was too young, but like I got it as I got older. There was a scene at the end when they've been divorced for a long time and they have a child together, and she's doing this like protest thing and like signing people up for it, and he's with his new wife at this hotel coming out in New York City, and they see each other across the street, and so he like runs across the street, or I think he runs across the street, one of them runs across the street, and they're like talking, and you can tell like the love is still there, but they both know, like, she even says like, you know, why don't you come over, she's like with somebody too, a new guy, and she's like, why don't you know, your girl looks great, and his name's Hubble, and she's like, and her name's Katie, and he's like, she's like, your girl looks, you know, and looks great, Hubble, why don't you bring her over for dinner, and he's like, I don't think that's possible, you know, or something like that. And so anyway, like when they walk across, when he walks back across the street after he says goodbye to her, they like hug really big, and he says, see ya, Katie. And then she just kind of sits there, and then she like, as he runs across the street, and in the background, the movie, that memories, you know, is playing, and she says, see ya, Hubble. Well, in my mom's eulogy that I did my mom's whole eulogy around movies because we loved movies so much. And I started it off, there's a line in the movie My Dog Skip, which is one of my all-time favorite movies, and at the very end of the movie, it's the boy narrates it the whole time, but as he's older, like looking back on it, it's very much like To Kill a Mockingbird. He says something to the effect of like, the most important lessons that we learn in life love and loyalty are above them all. And I started the whole eulogy with that. God, I just don't know why I'm so emotional. I've been so emotional today. I don't know why. Like, my dad texted me and I just started bawling. Like, I just was like, I don't know. Like, I was going through emotional situation or something. I don't know. It's like everything. I watched The Wife and I'm just like bawling watching that movie. But at the end of my eulogy for my mom, I said, like, the way that I ended it was, I said, see ya, Katie. And then I said, see ya, Hubble. And I said, see ya, Mom. I think of all of the things I miss about my mom the most. You know, sometimes I really miss, like, talking to her about movies and books, because I just really don't have that, you know? Like, Tanya loves the movies, but like, we don't talk about movies the way that my mom and I did. We would, like, really dissect a movie, or, like, just, like, really get into the line of a movie. You know, we loved, like, perfect lines in movies. And it didn't matter. I mean, it didn't always have to be these, like, deeply intellectual movies. Like, you know, my mom loved, like, Caddyshack and, you know, hilarious. She loved Steve Martin and John Goodman and, you know, Bill Murray, and she loved, like, one of my mom's favorite movies. And it actually starts off funny, but it's got a lot of funny scenes in it, but it's like a great, like, message in the movie too, is Continental Divide with John Belushi. And before he died, it was John Belushi that died, I think, right? And I mean, my mom watched Saturday Night Live literally every Saturday until she passed away, like, until she was in the hospital, you know. She loved it. Gilda Radner, all of them, all of those people from way back in the day. I mean, my mother loved, you know, Chevy Chase. Oh my God, Fletch. She watched those movies over and over and over again. She could quote them. But she loved good dramatic movies too. And I remember my mom went and saw Brokeback Mountain by herself. And I hadn't seen it yet. I actually went and saw it with my first long-term boyfriend at the time. We went to go see it as a couple, like the two of us. And I remember the night that we went, it was weird because we were like, I thought it would be like all these gay guys in there, and it was literally like all like heterosexual couples and us. And but my mom went and saw it. And if you don't know what Brokeback Mountain is, it's about two guys that fall in love. They go up on the mountain to ranch every summer, and they fall in love. And it's Jake Gyllenhaal and who's the guy that Michelle Williams? Why can't I think of his name? Her husband or boyfriend that died. Why can't I think of his name? Starts with an H. But anyway, I remember my mom called me and she said, have you seen Brokeback Mountain yet? And it had just, like, come out. And I said, no. I said, we want to go see it, but I haven't seen it yet. And she said, you have to go see it. She said, it's and she bought me the Annie Proulx, which I actually, like, I hadn't read it until last year, I think it was 2 years ago, for Booktubeathon, I read it. And it's like a novella. It's beautiful. She also wrote a book called Shipping News, I think, but my mom said, you have to see it. She said, this is one of the most important movies of our decade. And I said, oh, Mom, like, seriously? And she goes, it's one of the most important movies of our decade. She said, because it shows, it's not a story of two men that are gay. She said it's, you know, there's sex in it. It's not a sexual movie. It's not about that. She said it's a story of love. It's a true story of love. And the scene at the end, my mother, like, she couldn't even watch the scene. She owned it. Like, I found, like, 2 copies of it at home. Like, when she passed away, I found it, like, it I think in her DVD player when she passed away. But the scene at the end where Ennis, who is Jake Gyllenhaal, dies in Brokeback Mountain, and under very mysterious. You find out how he dies, like in the book, but it's like they show it kind of, but it's like mysterious in the movie. But it's different, I think, in the book than it is in the movie. But anyway, he goes up to Jake Gyllenhaal's name was Jack in the movie. He goes up to Jake, I think it's Jack. He goes, which was one of my mom's favorite movies anyway, or names anyway. I was almost Jack or Noah were my other two names if I was going to be a boy, because she loved John F. Kennedy. But so anyway, he goes up to the farm that he was raised on, and he goes to his room and he takes Jack's shirt. And he has it like in a hanger or something, like in this closet. He takes it out and he like smells it at the end of the movie. And like that scene, my mother would just like uncontrollably start sobbing. I do not know what is going on with my windshield, but it is like either so dirty on the outside or something, but like it will not defrost. It's like, I mean, it's defrosted, but it's like cloudy. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So anyway, I can never figure out my windshield stuff, you know what I mean? But anyway, but then she equally loved the movie. She just started uncontrollably. She just thought it was such a great love story. Such a great love story. And then she loved Fight Club. She thought it was about Buddhism. Okay, that was my fault. I was trying to move it around and then I started touching the screen. I should just leave in, because I always like take those parts out. I should just leave that in so you guys can see me like when I'm like doing all this madness to the camera. But Fight Club, yeah, she thought was about like Buddhism. And what were some other favorite movies of mine growing up with my mom? Like movies that really impacted me. Oh, The Color Purple. Oh my God, The Color Purple. And you want to talk about another great soundtrack. Just one of the greatest books ever by Alice Walker, but also one of the greatest movies of life. That movie is just phenomenal. I think like Suge's character is probably my favorite character. I mean, I love Miss Seeley, but I think like because she's so like, you know, confident and at the end, and she overcomes so much adversity. But I think like Suge's character, like it's such a movie of change, you know, and I think it also is a movie of having to go through extreme tragedy to come out on the other side. You know, with all of the female characters in the movie, Miss Sophia, Suge, Seeley, you know, they're all just, it's just such a great movie. I remember I saw Boys Don't Cry in the movie with my mom, in the movie theater with my mom, and she had to get up and leave. She was like, this is too much, I can't deal with this. That was a hard scene, or a hard movie, and that scene where she's killed is like a really... I think I actually saw the documentary about Brandon and Tina before I saw the movie. I remember we went to this place called Castleton Arts Theater. It's not there anymore. I don't even know what it is now. I think it's like a suit store or something. But my mom loved this movie theater because you could go in there and they had like different flavored coffees and you could get a sandwich. It was very kind of like arts theater. And they played like foreign films there. She went and saw foreign films all the time. My mother loved foreign films. And so she would go there and you know, get a flavor hazelnut coffee, and like she'd say, oh, I went to the movie today, and when my mom turned 55, this is so funny, and she could get her AARP card, like, or whatever, like, she loved it. She would go to movies all the time with like her discount, and she'd get discounts on everything. I didn't know that you could do that, but I guess I should probably check into that since I'm getting close to the time. My God, 9 years away from my AARP card. I've already got things in the mail, okay? Like, I'm not that old, AARP. Can you stop sending that shit to me? it's like, here are the things that happen after you get 40, you turn 40. And if you're over 40, you'll know this is true, right? You start getting things in the mail constantly about, like, burial services. Like, and it always says, like, on the cover, so your family doesn't have to worry. And I'm like, my family can worry, okay? I'm not even, like, they can pay for it. Alex he can pay for it. No, we have money set aside for that stuff. But they're always like, so your family never has to worry. And then I get things all the time for the AARP, and I'm like, I'm not even old enough yet to apply. Like, back up. But my mom loved it. She loved all the benefits that came with that. I think it's so funny. We would always talk about all the Oscar movies. Oh my God, another movie that changed my life, Trip to Bountiful. Trip to Bountiful is one. And another great soundtrack. Softly and tenderly, Jesus is calling. You guys know that movie with Geraldine Page. She won an Academy Award for it. And she was like 70 when she won that. Just goes to, I mean, she was a stage actress all her life, but it just goes to prove that I think she was in Blythe Spirit on Broadway when she won the Academy Award, and F. Murray Abraham was the one that gave the award to her. I remember the Oscar acceptance speech, and such a fantastic movie. She just wants to go home to the town of Bountiful, Texas one more time before she dies and get her hands in the earth. I just love that movie so much. And some of the most incredible sines. She sits, who is the actress that, oh gosh, her name's on the head of tip of my tongue. The actress that was in Risky Business. Is it Renee? What is her name? Teresa Russell is the actress that I was thinking about before. Oh my God. But who's the actress that was in Risky Business? Because she was in Trip to Bountiful and it was fantastic. I'll think of it in a second. Now that I've gotten Teresa Russell out of my mind. But she plays a completely different role. I mean, it shows her range. I also loved all those movies that were like Marsha Norman plays, like Crimes of the Heart was still to this day, I love that movie with Jessica Lange, Diane Keaton, and Sissy Spacek. Such a fantastic movie. Oh my God. And Night Mother with Sissy Spacek and Anne Bancroft. Although that is so depressing. And that was a play as well. And oh, I was trying to think of Sissy Spacek movies earlier. There you go. What's another movie? Crimes of the Heart. Marsha Norman plays. Crimes of the Heart. Oh, Steel Magnolias. Oh my God, I love that movie so much. Oh, how could I forget Terms of Endearment? That was me and my mom's favorite movie together. Well, To Kill a Mockingbird was our favorite movie together, but Terms of Endearment was such a great movie, wasn't it? If you haven't seen these movies, you better be writing them down and you better go watch them and report back to me because they are like life-changing movies. I wouldn't say they're life-changing movies, but I do love the movies. Coal Miner's Daughter with Sissy Spacek, and then Sweet Dreams with Jessica Lange, where she was Patsy Cline. But the woman that played, I can't think of any names tonight. I'm usually really good with that. But the woman that played the mom in the Vacation movies, she plays Patsy Cline in Coal Miner's Daughter. And there was this one line when what's her face, Loretta Lynn is pregnant again, and she says, well, one of the best scenes is when they're at, like, the two of them are singing at some carnival, and she goes and her husband's making out with this woman in the car, and she pulls the woman out of the car, and the woman goes, you don't know who I am. And Sissy Spacek says to her, I don't know who you are, but I know what you are, and if you don't get your hands off my man, you won't be. She said something like, it's hilarious. But the other scene that I love is like, oh, Beverly D'Angelo, that's who it is. And she, thank you for whoever shouted that out, I heard you. In that time warp space, I heard you. There are literally potholes all over the road. I'm like weaving around these potholes in this little side street. So she said Loretta Lynn is pregnant again, and Beverly D'Angelo goes, well, we're gonna go and we're gonna buy everything up, and what we can't buy, we're gonna steal, and what we can't steal, we're gonna make. I love that line. And then the very next scene is when Patsy Cline dies in a plane crash, and Loretta Lynn hears it on the radio. She and Charlie are asleep. No, Charlie's Patsy Cline's man. Dew is Loretta Lynn's husband. Dew's always making me a bologna sandwich, and he says, now Loretta. Oh my God, I love those movies so much. Patsy Cline, Sweet Dreams ends with her going to the side of the mountain. She goes, Charlie! Oh my God, what a great movie, Sweet Dreams. Sweet dreams of you. It's Jessica Lange. I mean, people like watch her now in American Horror Story and they're like, oh my God, she's incredible. Okay, Jessica Lange has been incredible for, like, let's just be for real, 40 years, okay? I saw her for the very first time in King Kong when I was a kid, and that movie terrified me. I don't know why, but I was like so scared of that movie. You know the scene when they're all like sitting like over the edge of the cliff, and they're like watching like they bring King Kong out? Like, that scene scared me so much. Oh my God, in Frances, did you guys ever see her in Frances, about Frances Farmer? Oh my God, one of the greatest. Somebody sent me those books about Frances Farmer, and you know, like there will never be another tomorrow or something, and there's like 2 of them. Somebody sent those to me, and I never read those. I'm reading those this year. Those are 2 books that I'm going to read. I'm like in my head, like, do I want to tell this story? So when I may have told this before, but when I was in junior high, see, this is, okay, please don't turn off, don't happen anything. Okay, when I was in junior high, there were these 2 girls that were cooler than school, let me just tell you. They were so different, so unique, and I like, obviously didn't have crushes on them, but I just thought they were like so cool. And what's so funny is, like, I'm not friends necessarily with one of them today, but I know one of them, and like we've talked on Facebook and stuff, and I'm like, I idolized you. And she was like, oh my God, I idolized you, why? And I was like, I just thought you were so cool. She's like, you were so cool in school too. I was like, she's like, your style was so cool. I was like, no, it was you. And she's like just like a mom and stuff today, and it's so great. I love that. But she and this girl, so there was this other girl, and I remember she like had this really unique watch, and like so this is like 7th and 8th grade, okay? 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. So what would that have been? I don't know, or mid-80s, it doesn't matter. But anyway, and I remember she carried this little Louis Vuitton purse, and nobody, I mean, was carrying Louis Vuitton purses back then, and she like would wear like leggings and like long t-shirts, and she just had like this raspy voice. I thought she was real cool, and she would like rat out her bangs. She was real different. And so after 9th grade, she ended up going to a boarding school. Well, she ended up being in 2 movies and like having like lines, and these were kind of like cult classic movies too. Like, if I said them, I probably said them on here before, but anyway, everybody's always wanting to go look up stuff, so I don't want to say it, but I probably have at some point on here. I think her name is different. I think she changed her name, but anyway, she was like in these movies, and I can remember like, she was always so cool and so different. She was always listening to like music she was listening, I don't know, I'm just making something up, but like, you know, something that you would never expect somebody like in 8th grade to listen to, you know, like Ricky Lee Jones or something like that. She was like listening to that. Well, I can remember I sat next to her in typing. We had typing together, and she was such a fast typer, and I was such a fast typer, so we always got like A+ on everything together. I don't know why I remember this about her, but anyway. And I just was like, I thought she was so cool. Like, Anyway, but I remember in typing, like, she'd get her lesson done and she would sit there and she would read, and she was reading the Frances Farmer book. And I had seen the movie, like, my mom and I had watched the movie Frances with Jessica Lange, and I can remember I said something to her and she's like, you know who Frances Farmer is? And I was like, yeah, she lived in Indianapolis. And she was like, she lived in Indianapolis? Because she wasn't from here, like, originally, and this girl wasn't from here originally. And I was like, yeah, she lived in Indianapolis and Broad Ripple, like, her house is on, like, I don't know if you guys know this. Did I talk about this not too long ago on here? I think I did. But there's like this big white house in Broad Ripple, and it looks like Hollywood. Oh no, I was telling my Uber driver this in Los Angeles, and I thought, now my lives just collide. I don't know who I'm telling an Uber driver to, or if I'm talking in a vlog or what. But anyway, so I think she died here even, but she had this house on the river in Broad Ripple. It's like this big, it looks like Hollywood. It's like the only house that looks insane. It has like these Korean boxwoods in front of it. It's gorgeous. And I can remember when we would drive by it, my mom would be like, that was Frances Farmer's house. And I'm like, seriously? She's like, yeah. So anyway, but if you haven't seen the movie, it's great. It's like about Frances Farmer, and she's like this actress in Hollywood, and then she had like went in all these psych hospitals, and they just like did all this like horrible stuff to her, and she had lobotomies and stuff like that. But shock, and she had like this shock therapy and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Isn't it weird how people like mold who we are without like they don't even know it? Like, I can remember, like, she and this girl, like, I said this to this girl when I talked to her. I was like, you inspired me to be, like, myself, you know, at that age. And, like, she's like, seriously? And I was like, yeah, you just were, like, so different and cool, and you didn't care. And, like, it inspired me. And they were real popular, too. And I said, you inspired me to, like, you know, be myself. I think that's why it's always so important to just be who you are, you know? And there's somebody out there that relates to that. There's somebody that's like, okay, this is my story, or I relate to that, or, you know, it makes me, you know, I like really like seek out people that are themselves. You know, like, even like Tanya, like, I know, like, for everybody she probably looks pretty normal, but like Tanya is somebody that, like, she totally dances to the beat of her own drum. You know, she does what makes her happy. And, you know, it's not like she has her hair colored 5 different colors and, you know, does all kinds of wild stuff. But, like, that's kind of who her soul is, and I love that about her, you know, that she doesn't, like, she does what makes her happy. It doesn't have to always show on the outside, you know? Anyway, that girl was in 2 movies, and then she wasn't in any more movies. The way that she was in the movie was... You guys are going to all be like, Peter, you talked about this like a month ago on here, and you told us what movies it was. But she went to boarding school with a girl that was like the lead in these movies. And they became like best friends, which is why she was able to like be in these movies, I think. But I do remember one day, like, our junior year, she must have been in town visiting or something, because she came to school, and it was, like, during lunch, and I remember she walked in, and I was just like, oh my God, there she is. I was just like, and this was before the movies and stuff, but I was just like, I cannot believe that there she is. She looks so different. I remember she had, like, real long hair, and... I've always been very intrigued with people's stories, you know, like, no matter even who they are. It doesn't have to be somebody that's, like, phenomenal or has, you know, like, all this success or something. Like, I'm just very interested in people's, like, story. The car stopping and starting still kind of freaks me out sometimes. But I'm very intrigued with just, like, people's stories of their life, you know, and what makes them tick. And I think each of us, you know, has our own story. And... like, there's this woman that works at the Meyer, and she is, like, the host, and she's so happy. I would love to interview her. Like, I mean, it's not bullshit happy. It's like she is really happy every single day. When I walk through that door, she's like, oh my God, you know. And, I mean, I just, like, I would love just to hear, like, you know, what got her to the point where she's, like, like, I think about her, like, when she's not there, I'm like, where is she? You know, like, what happened today that she's not here? And, like, Like, that's making an impact on somebody's life, you know? I can tell you, like, even when I'm pissed off and I walk through there, sometimes I think to myself, like, why is she so happy? You know what I mean? But then, like, I kind of get out of it real quick. It's hard to, like, look at somebody when you're in a bad mood and they're like, hi, how are you? And you're like, fuck you. You know what I mean? You can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, like, happiness is contagious, I think. And she's impacting people's lives, you know? She's impacted my life. And, you know, I think that's an interesting story. I don't know, I just love to hear people's stories. I think the story of our life is priceless because each of us is different and we get to certain points in our lives, different ways. This coffee is too much, but anyway, it still tastes good. And even though it's a little cold by now. But, you know, like, the things that we've learned in life, and I mean, if I asked each of you out there, what are 3 really valuable lessons that you learned in your life, and how did you learn them? It wouldn't be the 3 same lessons over 2,000 people. It would be, you know, I mean, there would be some that would overlap, but the majority of them wouldn't. And the stories that taught you the lessons would be completely different. You know, or if I said, who's one person that really impacted you in your life, that you know in real life, the reality is I get 2,000 completely different responses, you know? And so when you think about that, and you think about our own individual stories and how unique they are, and then we want to compare ourselves to other people, or we want to say, my life's not as important as, or I'm not as important as, or whatever. No, that's not true. We all are important. We all have an impact on somebody out there, you know? Even if you don't think you do, you do. I remember I used to work with this girl, and I worked with her for years, and she was very quiet, and just kind of came in and did her thing, and no, didn't really talk a lot. Even when we would, like, all sit there for lunch, she just really wouldn't talk a whole lot, you know? And she just was so amazingly calm. And I can just remember, like, admiring that about her, you know? Like, she never said anything. But it wasn't about the fact that she didn't say anything. It was, like, in any situation, like, I can remember, like, you know, working in a treatment facility, there's crisis mode situations that happen, and she just was always completely calm, you know? And, I mean, nothing would, like, rattle her. And I can just remember just, like, being, like, amazed at that, you know? And I said to her one day, like, years later, I was like, I don't think you realize, like, how much, like, you've, like, taught me how to stay calm in situations like that. Oh, my God, the battery is going to die. I don't want to put the new battery in, so I'm just going to end it here. But she looked at me and she goes, what? And I said, yeah, like, you've really, I did bring the battery though, actually, but I said, you've really impacted me, like, in staying calm and learning how to stay calm in these situations. She goes, really? Like, she was surprised, you know, but, like, every single one of you out there is impacting somebody. All of you out there, you know? One of the things that I love is that when somebody puts something in the vlog, and a lot of times, like, I won't even comment on it because I want you guys just to have it to yourselves in the comment section, because I feel like the comment section is really yours and the video is me, but the comment section's yours, I feel like. And one of the things I love is when somebody will say something about, like, something they're going through, and then there's 8 comments underneath it, or 8 replies, and you guys, like, all support that person. That just is amazing to me. I love that so much. That is found underneath the comment. And that's not me. That has nothing to do with me. That has to do with the fact that I upload a video and allow there to be a comment section underneath it, and you guys take it and go with it. I just, like, that makes me so happy. And you don't even know that you're impacting people when they read that, you know? But you are, and we all impact somebody every day, and you got to remember that. You have to remember how important your life is. It's vital to somebody out there. And if it isn't today, it might be tomorrow. And if it isn't today, it might have been yesterday. So you have to remember that. And it may have been in a small, small, small way that you don't even realize or recognize. Anyway, all right, you guys, put some of the movies down below that really impacted you. I love you. I'm going to figure out this car thing for tomorrow. Thank you, Carly, for sending it to me. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Happy Sunday.